especially by those who have much more resources to work to come to solutions with the staff.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Rounds. So let's get a two-part question. You started your career at FDIC, independent financial regulator, before we were lucky enough to have you on our staff. You've been nominated to serve on another independent financial regulator, NCUA. Discuss why it's important for financial regulators to be independent, and tell me at the same time, same answer, what will some of your priorities be?
Thank you for the question, Senator. The safety and stability and the resiliency of our financial system is important to the strength of our entire economy. And so I think financial regulators like the NCUA should be independent to promote market stability, predictability, and continuity. Americans need to have confidence that decisions that affect the financial system that affect their pocketbooks are made independently and based on data. At the same time, I think congressional oversight of those independent agencies is important so that regulators are held accountable to the American people. If confirmed, I will work to ensure that the NCUA fulfills its mission to protect the credit union system. One priority I would like to focus on, if confirmed, however, is to make sure that credit unions, especially smaller ones, can continue to stay competitive and provide affordable financial services to their members in a constantly evolving financial system. Small credit unions serve a lot of areas of this country that do not have access to financial services in the same way as other parts of the country, and so I think that's really critical to the strength of our overall economy.
Thank you. Ms. Fain, you have 2 decades of experience. Talk about how IG offices can promote transparency and efficiency in agency operations and agency programs, and tell us some of the lessons you've learned from various IG offices you've worked with.
Thank you, Senator, for the question. Transparency is very key, if not a critical component of the Inspector General mission and office in general. One way that Inspector Generals are able to contribute is through the reporting that they do, and it's key because oftentimes you have agencies and with programs and operations that can be opaque. And so the reporting that the Inspector General's offices complete and issue not only to Congress but the agency head and are available to public provide that inside look and understanding that taxpayers may not necessarily have with regards to the agency's operations. With my experience of 22 years with the inspector community, what I take from that is just the overall mission and the ability to have an impact on other people's lives beyond oneself. Personally, I like to fix things, and so I take great gratitude and in the work that I've been able to conduct throughout my career and make recommendations to agencies and departments that have provided solutions and instances where those agencies and departments can continue to build and do what they do best for the American public.
Thank you. Mr. Oyuda, you heard what Ms. Fain said about transparency. I'm not sure you understand the outrage by people in stock buybacks. Senator Vance and I have been intricately involved together on what happened in East Palestine with the train derailment. You may not know details, but you certainly know of it. What led up to that, in large part, is that Norfolk Southern laid off a third of its workforce in the preceding years. Executives took stock buybacks. Executives issued stock buybacks, took them to the tune of between $2 and $3 billion. Yet you voted against better disclosure of cyber attacks and stock buybacks. I don't really understand why, in light of what Ms. Fain said and what we know, that disclosure shines a light and makes people behave better often, including railroad executives. Why would you do such a thing?
Chairman Brown, first off, let me express full agreement that transparency is a very key part of the securities laws. And I think one of the fundamental parts is that for the capital market, especially material financial information needs to be disclosed. In those 2 particular rules that you raised, share repurchase and cyber security. There were a number of technical approaches that I had significant concerns for. For instance, on the cybersecurity rule that you mentioned, for the first time, the SEC actually mandated forward-looking statements, which is very unusual for us to do for a particular type of disclosure. Normally, our disclosures are based on things that you can prove as fact. That's one thing we look at on our enforcement efforts. So I had significant concerns about the forward-looking statement part. I realize my time is up. May I continue? I've just finished my thought on share repurchase.
Sure, of course.
With respect to the share repurchase part, we've had disclosure for a while, but the daily disclosures came out that are filed at quarter end were fairly prescriptive, more prescriptive than what we normally do. But I also had fairly significant concerns about how we're making a philosophical change on how we regulate foreign private issuers.
Okay. Thank you for your response. The president of the Richmond Fed told me many years ago, the former president, he said, watch what we do and let us know you're watching what we do. And you understand that. Senator Vance, Ohio.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thanks to the six of you for being willing